Welcome to EJH British Cars. Well, time has come for new tires for the TR4. So I've not really driven that car very much in the last couple of years because they were getting so old, and they're more than 10 years old at this point. They're probably 10 years old when I just decided I wouldn't use it anywhere except for around town. So I got some new Pirellis. Uh, I don't remember where I got them on the internet somewhere, Simple Tire or somebody like that. And I'm going to mount them on the wire wheels. So I thought I'd let you see all that. So let's go take a look at the car. Well, here it is. I was surprised. I had not started this car since the first of the year, at least, probably more like around Thanksgiving last year. I was really surprised. I turned it on to turn on the fuel pump, because electric fuel pump, let that build up, let the carburetors fill up, because those side drafts use a lot of fuel to fill the bowls. And gave it a couple of pumps, and I turned the key, and I think it fired before it turned one full revolution. It made like one, and then it went vroom. So I was very happy about that. Anyway, I got the front end jacked up, and the spinners are really tight. They've been on there a really long time. So I just put a little penetrating oil on them. So I really want to try to take them off with the dead blow mallet so I don't muck up the ears on the spinners anymore. They're a little bit already from, having to use a sledgehammer on them at some point because they were so tight. But I thought I'd try a little oil first. So let's see if that did anything for us. One thing you should note is that the spinners are left and right-handed. So the left-hand wheels turn left to undo, the right-hand wheels turn right. And you can see there's an arrow and an undo sticker or undo mark on the spinner. Plus you can see that that side of the ear has been hit. Now let's see if this will undo. It'd be better if it was still on the ground because you would get less bounce out of the suspension and stuff, but it's up already. You can tell when it makes that crack noise, the spinner is moving. So there it goes. So just a little bit of a PB blaster really helped that along a lot. There we go. Well, it's nice and easy. We'll compare them. So the overall diameter is about the same. And so is the width. I found that regardless of what um, a size says, the more expensive a tire is, generally the wider it is. And it won't be by a lot, but it could be up to an inch between a cheap tire and an expensive tire. So let's take them around to the tire machine. So I get the wheel off the car, took the valve stem out, let the air out, and onto my bead breaker. There it goes. This thing has notches, so you start it off, and as you go down, you can work it down a notch and a notch, and particularly when a tire's been on there a long time, you'll probably have to do that. If the tire's only been on there a year or so, then it'll probably come off pretty easy. So now we need to flip it over and do the other side. So these are tubeless Daytona chrome wheels. This side's a lot easier because it's a really short flat spot on the rim, whereas on the back it was a lot bigger. So you had to stretch it down past that. But that's the beads broken. We're going to put it on the machine. And this thing wasn't really designed for use with wire wheels, but we make it work. We're only doing it by hand, so if this was a powered machine, it would be kind of hazardous because those things develop a lot of energy. We are going to have to get this pin through the spokes somewhere. So you can see this thing is off center, but we got it through this. It's a space like that one. It's one of the bigger spaces. Next, we'll put the hole down on it. So these These are little pieces of pipe because these are just 3/16 steel. I put these on so they wouldn't scuff the wheels up as much. Not that that's that critical here because this is just the area where the spinner goes on, but on some cars it's more important. This is just some tire lube. I'll go ahead and put this in. So most wheels just go with the side that faces the outside of the car up, but some wheels are reversed, and you can tell that because the thinner portion of the flat bead's on the bottom instead of the top. And if you have one of those, which we used to get with chrome reverse wheels all the time back in the day, you need to put them on the machine this side down. Not so much on a tubeless tire, but I like to get the bead up where the valve is, so that way there it doesn't interfere with you. So that comes up pretty easy. I'm putting another flat bar in here to keep the bead from just following it around on the tire. Oh yeah, it's going nice. Look at that. Yay, nice easy wheel for a change instead of like the Weiss Cadillac tires. These are 195 65/15s, by the way. And this is much the same as the top one. Slide that in, get the bead underneath it. It's even easier. Look at that. So I always like to put new valve stems in when I put new tires on. This is a valve stem tool. It just goes over those threads like that. And I actually use this to take the old one out. You just thread it on. And then most of the time you can just do that and break it. And if it's tough, you can always just take a knife and start the cut underneath and it'll come off easy enough. And if you got a nice wheel, you can put a little rag under there. The other thing I like to do is put a little bead lubricant on it to help it through. So just put that on there. Feed this up through the bottom. That on there. Put a rag on the edge of the wheel. Pull it up till it snaps. Easy peasy. I thought I would show you why this is a tubeless rim. So first off, see there's a ridge right there that keeps the bead in place if you lose air. And that's on both sides. And then they've sealed this upper lace, the spokes, with silicone, and below they did it with silicone and they added this band. Because remember the bead goes in here like this, so that's going to cover them anyway. And this is a triple lace wheel, so it's got here it's 72 spoke, but see it's got the third inboard lace. So before you mount it, you want to make sure if the tire is directional or asymmetrical. So directional, typically the treads have a V and they'll have an arrow on the sidewall that says rotation. So, you're going to have to mount two one way and two the other, right? And symmetrical would be that the tire is not a mirror image. Like if you thought about this, if you put a mirror right here, this side would look like that side. But like the XASs, one side has a very closed tread with just small squiggles in it and much more open on the inside. And that's because when you corner, all the pressure goes on the outside of the tire. So they want as much rubber as they can. Now these are Pirelli P4s, I think they're, yeah, P4. And they are neither asymmetrical nor directional. So all we need to do is we'll put some lubricant on the beads and get them on the wheel. There you. It's nice working with new tires with that aren't super low profile. I did a set of 50 series tires on the 8 and they are a bear because the sidewalls are so short and they're very stiff. I mean, the tires are wonderful. But what a pain in the petunias. So I'll put my helping hand on. I call it a hand because it actually looks like that, kind of. And as you do this, you want to make sure that your bead's falling down in that deep groove. So they call these tire irons or tire spoons. Spoons because it's kind of a spoon shape. Making sure that that bead's going down into that groove. And we're working towards the valve stem again. And there we go. Hey, this thing is really handy. It works super well. So I put a little lubrication on the beads to help them seat. If you're lucky, you can get it to inflate with the valve core still in there, but this one wouldn't. So taking it out increases the airflow a lot. So to put this on the machine, first you're going to need a cone that fits inside that rear spline input, but the spline input only comes to about here, so this will center the back of the wheel. So we need that, and we'll need this. Now this is just a knockoff from a later car that didn't use wing spinners, it used hex spinners. And in the lathe, made a hole that is just a few thousandths bigger than that threaded area. So I'll show you. We got to get the tire up here. Put that on like that. And this goes on there. And you need to push it in a little bit. And because the threads don't start for almost an inch, it doesn't fit. So I'll put it on upside down. And I'm turning the shaft from behind here because it's just easier. And then you tighten it up. Once we've done that, we need to set the machine. So wheel diameter is 15 inches. Wheel width, you have a measuring device here. Says it's a 6-inch wide wheel. There we go. And then the offset is measured. I don't know how well you can see this, but there's a bar right here. And you put that so it touches the flat, not this edge here, not the very most edge, but the piece that the bead's leaning against on the other side. And that says this is about 6 3/8. So well, we'll call it 6 1/4. Now the next thing we're going to do is spin this tire just by hand. We want to make sure, see how nice and flat that's running? That's really good. Oh, we want to make sure all the weights are off too. We did that when we were cleaning. So now we spin this up till we hear it beep. This does not have a motor in it. So this is just, it's for people like me working in their garage. And it says, it's a half an ounce on the inside edge. And 1 1/4 on the outside edge. If you look here, see the arrows pointing down, 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 and it's up. So right there's where I want it. There you go. It's all showing zeros no matter where it is on the wheel. Well, that means this one's done. It's ready to go back on the car. I'll probably wait and do all four before I decide the final placement, because I like to put the roundest, least weight tires on the front. Before you reinstall these wheels, let's take some lithium grease. Nothing fancy. You want to grease the splines. Be generous with it, but don't be crazy. Now let's get a little fresh grease on the threads. I'm also going to put some down in that groove, and that's where. Just thought I'd show you. This car has Aluma-Fin drums. Well, it's an aluminum drum. It's cast around a steel band, which acts as the wearing surface for the brakes, and of course they're finned. Well, I hope you enjoyed all that. I took it for a quick ride, and the tires ride really nicely. They haven't got any miles on them yet, so they need to be scrubbed in before we really try to see how much traction they have sideways. But for the little bit that I did it, they were fine. They all balanced up pretty well. One was a little heavy, but it was very flat, so that was good. And one of them had just a little wiggle in it, but that's actually in the wheel, so can't blame the tires for that. So, and it looks really nice. And the old tires were they were really old. They were made in 2001. So it's good I had been driving on for quite a few years. And you could see all around, just above the edge of the rim, they were cracked and dry rotted and all that. So not a very wise idea to use them for that long. But like I say, I haven't driven that car anywhere but in town for several years now, just because of that. But it'll be nice to be able to take it out and put it on the freeway and stuff. I took it for a little ride now, and the overdrive is working good and all that stuff. It's been a while since I drove it, so it was kind of fun. And it's a beautiful sunny day. It's we're in March now, and it's like 74 degrees here, so it's just amazing. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and we'll see you next time.